Number 10. Ace the Bat Hound. Ace the Bat Hound was a German Shepherd that Robin and Batman teamed up with in Batman issue 92. The dog had been attempting to locate his owner when Batman and Robin found and rescued him. Bruce put an ad in the paper attempting to help the dog find its true owner. Shortly after, the dog ended up getting loose from the Batcave. Robin quickly made a disguise for the dog as Batman was concerned due to the ad that they'd placed in the paper and the distinct appearance of Ace that people might see them with him and connect the dots between Bruce Wayne and Batman. Eventually Ace was reunited with his owner again, but he would later return to team up with the dynamic duo once more in the future. More than once actually, I think. Number 9. BAT-MITE. BAT-MITE is a magical imp similar to Superman's Mr. Mxyzptlk. He advocates that he is Batman's #1 fan and as such pretty much exclusively wears his own little Batman costume. Unfortunately, he's usually not very powerful in a helpful sort of way. Batman came from a dimension where he and other imps idolized the heroes of Batman's dimension. As such, he usually would try to orchestrate events so that he could see Batman in action, usually creating problems for Batman to then solve and inevitably kind of annoying him. However, Bat-MITE never intended to annoy his hero and would generally stop when he realized he was being a nuisance. Similar to Mr. Mixie, Bat-MITE demonstrates magical powers which allow him to alter reality somewhat. He also shoots lightning bolts out of his fingers, and he can turn invisible. Number 8. Bluebird. Harper Row is a super skilled electrician who started fixing things from a young age after her and her brother were left alone, often abandoned by their father on a regular basis whom they lived with. Harper would run into Batman after he saved her and her brother Cullen from a large group of bullies. This inspired her to try and track Batman down, and she began looking for him online. She ended up assisting Batman and later saving his life with her own makeshift defibrillator, and after that she joined the Bat family, taking up the mantle of Bluebird. She would later leave her role as a vigilante to go back to school and study to become an engineer. But before that, she would demonstrate how skilled she was by constructing her own weapons and armor, which had its own anti-nanobot field. Number 7. Huntress. Whether we're talking about Helena Bertinelli or Helena Wayne, Catwoman and Batman's daughter, either way, Huntress tends to be considered a sometimes ally to Batman, and a powerful one at that. Helena Wayne has since been relegated to existing on Earth 2, and was raised by her parents there to become a hero. She decided to strike out on her own after the death of her mother, Selina Kyle. Being trained by both Batman and Catwoman makes her an insanely skilled combatant. Helena, like Helena Bertinelli of Prime Earth, is also known for her trademark crossbow, which is usually her preferred weapon of choice. Number 6. Spoiler. For the purpose of this list, we are going to talk about rebooted Stephanie Brown as opposed to the OG Stephanie Brown. The Stephanie Brown of Prime Earth is the daughter of villain Cluemaster, although growing up young, Stephanie was unaware of her father's villainous schemes. However, when she did find out, this revelation inspired her to become the hero known as Spoiler. Her goal was to spoil her father's evil plots, leaving clues so that the authorities could track him down. Red Robin ended up using his detective skills to track her down, and the two ended up teaming up. Over time, they both realized they had feelings for one another and began a relationship. Batman eventually revealed Tim's true identity to Stephanie and decided to start training her, which kind of caused a rift to develop between her and Tim Drake. Eventually, however, they would move past this. Stephanie would also receive training for her time from the Birds of Prey and her good friend Cassandra Cain, aka Orphan. Number 5. Carrie Kelly. Carrie Kelly is Batman's Robin from Earth 31. Unlike most Robins, Carrie did have parents, but they were very neglectful of her. She was saved by an elderly Batman one night who had returned from retirement. Inspired by the rescue, she bought herself a Robin costume and set out to track Batman down, armed with a slingshot and some firecrackers. Batman would take her on as Robin, but would also constantly threaten to fire her from her mantle for disobeying him. But Carrie showed so much promise, he could never bring himself to truly ever follow through. Carrie Kelly would help Batman defeat Joker when he resurfaced, and in the future would go on to become Catgirl, becoming a hero in her own right in Dark Knight Strikes Again. Number 4. Batwing. Batwing, like his father Lucius Fox, has a gifted intellect. He graduated MIT with degrees in engineering and business management, following in his father's footsteps, and like his father, became a coveted businessman for hire. Everyone everywhere wanted him to work for them, including including his dad. Lucas Fox, however, was not interested in any of this. Instead, Luke turned to cage fighting and boxing, training in MMA, hoping to garner attention from Batman and be recruited into Batman Incorporated. Luke's dreams would come true and he would be recruited to take up a mantle as the new Batwing and become the Batman of Africa. He is not only a skilled fighter with a brilliant mind, but Luke is also a great leader, like Batman and like his father, and is considered a tactical genius. Number 3. Jarro. Jarro is Batman's adopted son. He is genetically related to Starro, as he came into existence by forming from a surviving tissue sample the Batman had of the evil alien being known as Starro. He gets his name because that sample was kept in a jar. Jarro is not only capable of flight and telepathy, but he also has genius level intellect. Although technically Jarro comes from the supremely evil Starro, he loves Batman like a father and there is nothing he wouldn't do for him. Also, I just love Jarro, he's super cute, even though he's only been in a few things. Number 2. Catwoman. Catwoman over the years has been a powerful ally to Bruce and occasionally posed as a powerful villain as well. Selina and Bruce may not have ended up tying the knot, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't consider Catwoman an extended member of the Bat family. She's been around as long as Dick Grayson, since 1940, and is one of the people that Batman trusts the most. In fact, she really should just be considered a straight up member at this point, not even extended. She's not just a super accomplished thief, but is also a skilled unarmed and armed combatant who is known for her agility. Number 1. Lucius Fox. Lucius Fox is one of Batman's closest friends and most trusted allies. He has been around for a long time too, first appearing in Batman issue 307 in 1979. Not quite as long as Catwoman, but still pretty impressive. Although Lucius is not known for his physical prowess, he is one of the smartest and most gifted businessmen and sometimes inventors in the world, which is what makes him such a powerful friend and ally to Bruce and to Wayne Enterprises. Currently in continuity, Lucius is the CEO of Wayne Enterprises, having risen in the company since his first appearance in the New Earth continuity, where he was originally helping Bruce to run a charity organization. Bruce noticed Fox's prowess early on and quickly made him his personal assistant and financial advisor, very much valuing Lucius for his business savvy. There have been many times where it has been up to Lucius to save Wayne Enterprises and ensure it stays afloat. And without Wayne Enterprises or his money, it would be very hard for Bruce as Batman to accomplish all that he sets out to do. Also, can we just talk about Morgan Freeman playing Lucius Fox in the Dark Knight movies? So good! So awesome. Ugh. Lucius Fox is great. Number 10. Signal. Duke Thomas's parents were victims of the Joker, but before that, years before, they helped Batman during his 0 year, rescuing him and taking care of him. After Duke's parents were driven insane by the Joker, he became a vigilante, joining the team known as the Robins. Batman later offered him the opportunity to join the Bat family, and Duke Thomas took up the mantle Signal. He also found out he had metahuman abilities, making him one of the few superpowered members of the Bat family. Signal's powers allow him to perceive light differently from most humans. He can view light at superhuman speeds, giving him sort of clairvoyant abilities. Number 9. Batwoman. Batwoman is Kate Kane, Batman's cousin in the comics. This version of the character was part of a redesign first appearing in 2006. She was originally a member of the military who was discharged after they learned she was gay. Since then, with the help of her father and sometimes the help of her cousin, Bruce Wayne, she became a vigilante going as Batwoman. Batwoman is not just a skilled combatant but also boasts of genius level intellect, like many of the other Batman family members, and can speak multiple languages. She has an indomitable sense of will that has allowed her to withstand supernatural and magical influences and is just as stealthy as the Bat himself. Number 8. Red Hood. Red Hood was originally Batman's second Robin. His civilian name is Jason Todd, and he even ended up being adopted by Bruce. During his time as Robin, he ended up leaving Batman and heading out on a journey to find his birth mother. On that adventure, which Batman ended up finding him and joining him on, he ran into the Joker. His mother sold him out, and the Joker then beat Jason Todd almost to death before blowing him and his mother up with a bomb. Batman arrived too late to save Jason or his mother, and this has remained a failure which Batman considers one of his greatest. Todd would later return as Red Hood, being resurrected in part and guided for a time by Talia al Ghul. When he did return to Gotham, it was originally as somewhat of a villain. However, Jason would eventually join the Bat family again, having more of an anti-hero status as someone who isn't opposed morally to killing those villains that he feels deserves it. and bringing his own brand of justice to Gotham. Jason isn't against using guns, but also doesn't need them to be a badass. He has also been shown to be highly skilled with the sword. Duke retrained him after he was resurrected, also granting him the ability to be in control of his mind on a deeper level, giving him telepathic resistance and strong mind control defenses. Number 7. Damian Wayne. Damian Wayne is the son of Batman and Talia al Ghul, daughter of one of Batman's greatest enemies and sometimes ally, Ra's al Ghul. Or Ra's al Ghul, depending on how you like to say it. Damian Wayne was dropped on Batman's doorstep when he was just a child, and having been raised by his mother, a skilled assassin, and raised along with the League of Assassins themselves, he proved to be a problem and challenge to Bruce originally, as he had both a sense of entitlement surrounding his being a Wayne and had no aversion to killing people. Due to his training from a young age, he has proved his prowess and efficiency in combat as a deadly opponent to those villains he comes up against. He has made quick work of well-known Batman villains like Victor Zsasz and Man-Bat. He's also proved in the past to be a worthy adversary for other Robins as well, although now he sees them more like brothers, so that's good. Number 6. Orphan. One of the deadliest members of Batman's team, in the same vein of Damian actually, but without the attitude really. Orphan is Cassandra Cain. She is the daughter of David Cain and Lady Shiva and was rigorously trained from a young age to become a killing machine. She was not permitted to speak and never taught how to while growing up, instead communicating solely through body language, making her an expert combatant as she can use one's body language to read how and when they will attack. It's also very hard to intimidate Cassandra when it comes to the shock factor, as she was desensitized to death and violence from a very young age, being forced to witness multiple murders. She also has the potential to high-five you hard enough to break your hand. Fortunately, she's learned not to do that. Number 5. Batgirl. Batgirl isn't even just a Batgirl. She has been known by both the Batgirl mantle and her codename Oracle, a genius hacker, computer whiz, and master data sleuth for Batman and the leader of the Birds of Prey after she became paralyzed by the Joker from the waist down when he shot her through the spine. She not only has a brilliant mind, but she also is a skilled combatant. Even before she was Batgirl, she was known as a driven and determined young woman by those she trained with. Before even becoming Batman's protege, she studied martial arts and ballet, both of which helped to provide her with the strength, agility, and flexibility needed later on in combat. Bab's reflexes are so sharp we've even seen her dodge bullets in combat, and easily disarm opponents who are armed with guns. Truly a Bat family member that Batman would be proud of. Even when she felt shame surrounding letting herself be shot by the Joker, Batman was still by her side. She was worried he would also be disappointed in her, like she kind of was with herself, but he only expressed concern for her well-being. Barbara rarely, if ever, disappoints Batman. Number 4. Red Robin. Tim Drake is known for being one of the smartest Robins around. He is a brilliant detective, in fact so good that he is expected to be on the same level as one of the world's greatest detectives, Batman himself. In fact, it's also been implied that Tim Drake will likely one day surpass Batman when it comes to his detective skills. The way that he originally became Robin was through discovering the secret identities of both Batman and Robin, who was Jason Todd at the time. Following Todd's death, Drake noticed that Batman seemed to need a Robin to help give him balance, and ended up convincing the Dark Knight to take him under his wing, making him the third Robin of Batman. Number 3. Nightwing. Dick Grayson has taken Batman's place before, and what's more, he was fairly good at it. In fact, he's probably one of the most likely currently to be the person to take over for Batman, as long as he's got his memories, which have been gone more often than not in recent years. Dick was Batman's first Robin, and through the comics we've seen him become one of Batman's steadfast allies, almost appearing like an adoptive son to Bruce, destined to take up the mantle of Batman one day. Well, actually, maybe, if we're lucky, and the writers let it happen, we'll actually get to see him take up the mantle on a more permanent level. That'd be pretty cool. Number 2. AZRAEL. After Batman's back was broken by Bane, Sean Paul Valley was the one who Bruce turned to take up the Batman mantle in his absence. Jean Paul proved a powerful force when it came to his time as Batman, so powerful in fact that it took Batman, Robin, and Nightwing to take him down. The final showdown of course came down to AZRAEL and Batman, and in the end, Jean Paul surrendered the armor, cape, and cowl. Number 1. Alfred Pennyworth. Alfred might not have any superpowers, but he really doesn't need any to be considered one of the most powerful and influential members of the Batman family. Alfred is Batman's butler, his guide, his father figure, and has saved him in more than one way many times throughout the comics. As we can see currently in the Joker War story arc from the 2016 Batman run, which will be ending shortly, Batman is lost without Alfred. Alfred also has tons of past military experience and was a professional actor, and was sought after by the Wayne family to take his father Jarvis's place as their butler. In the Injustice series, Alfred also reveals there is no length he would not go to when it comes to protecting Bruce Wayne, who he thinks of as a son. After Superman breaks Batman's back, it's Alfred who forces him to back down, ingesting a pill which grants him superhuman strength and durability, allowing him to break Superman's nose. Yeah, Alfred's a badass.
Kicking off the list at number 10. Huntress. Making her origins from back in the Silver Age of comics, and more specifically from Earth 2, we have the daughter of an older Batman and Catwoman. That daughter being Helena, or more commonly, Huntress. Now, of course, after Crisis on Infinite Earths, they had to retcon her story, but she's still a bad. Her new origins depict her as the Catholic Italian-American mob princess, Helena Bertinelli. She was featured, of course, in Birds of Prey, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
One girl with hair like this?
Yes, that's Ramona Flowers.
And of course, she's also a member of the Justice League. And if you want to start her story from the beginning, you can of course find that in Huntress issue 1. And before we head over to number 9, guys, if you could go ahead and toss us a thumbs up on this video, because it helps us out quite a bit here at the studio. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, nerds. Number 9, Dick Grayson. Making his first comic book appearance back in 1987 in Batman 408, titled Did Robin Die Tonight? Known as Robin initially, and then of course taking on the Nightwing persona, he started off young, performing alongside his family in a circus act appropriately named The Flying Graysons. At just the age of 12 years old, that's amazing. But after a wire snap, Dick watched his parents fall to their death, and he felt responsible because he didn't warn them about Tony Zuko, the crime lord who was threatening the livelihood of the performers for extortion shmoney. So Bruce ends up taking him under his wing, and after a night of Dick sneaking out to solve the mystery of his parents' death, he finds out Batman and Bruce are one of the same. And of course, sharing similar origins of watching their parents die tragic deaths, it wasn't long until he passed the gauntlet and became Robin the Boy Wonder. And of course, as most of us know him now, Nightwing. Number 8, Jason Todd. AKA Red Hood made his debut in Detective Comics 168 in The Man Behind the Red Hood. Jason Todd took over the mantle of Robin. Now at this point, Dick Grayson left to become Nightwing, right? So Jason Todd has a lot of anger. I mean, once you get beat by the Joker and your mentor doesn't really avenge your death, anger is one word I could definitely use for that situation. So yeah, after Batman: A Death in the Family, when Jason is brutally beat by the Joker, he comes back as Red Hood. Now at this point, he's ruthless. He has much darker ways of getting what he wants. In the 2015 game Arkham Knight, we see Red Hood being the twist villain at the end. So if you missed that one, you have to check it out. It's a must. Coming in at number 7, Clark Wayne. Making his first appearance in Superman and Batman Generations issue 3, Clark aka Nightwing is the grandson of Superman and adopted son of Bruce Wayne Jr. I like the look of this guy a lot. I mean, right off the bat, the all black look with the white bat symbol and the hair, I'm here for it. Let's do it. Clark was adopted by the Wayne family and was raised by Bruce Jr. Believing that a full-blooded Wayne family member can have the mantle of Batman, he became Nightwing. Right, makes sense. See, in 1999, he met Bruce Wayne Sr. and Clark Kent, his actual grandfather. Clark then helped Superman and Batman obtain a vial of liquid that restored Superman's Kryptonian powers. Not bad. Number 6, Carrie Kelly. The first female Robin, yes, made her debut back in 1986 in Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. Attacked by muggers at the age of 13, but luckily saved by Batman on his first night out of retirement. Inspired, she spent her lunch money on making this Robin suit and hunted down some baddies to run into Batman again. So since Jason Todd's death, the application for a new sidekick was open, so Carrie Kelly became the new Robin. See, unlike other versions, her parents were still alive. Not the best parents by any means, but alive nonetheless. So tonally, she brings something new to the table, marking The Dark Knight Returns as one of the best Batman comics of all time. Coming in next for good reason, we have Stephanie Brown. Making her first appearance in Detective Comics 647, the daughter of the villain Clue Master, She started under the alter ego, the Spoiler. So she did the clue leaving herself as she investigated and left behind information for Batman and the police to catch. Robin helped her out and she became attracted to him because, I mean, of course, look at that little handsome little devil. After Tim hung up the Robin cape, Stephanie snuck into the Batcave and demanded to play the role of new Robin, and of course have proper training to go along with it. Number 4, Tim Drake, aka Red Robin, made his first appearance in Batman 436. He was the third Robin after Jason Todd. At a young age, Tim was actually at the same circus the night of the Flying Grayson's tragic fall. See, this is a day he would never forget, especially after meeting Dick the same day. So while watching Batman and Robin kick some ass later on, he noticed the acrobats on Robin looked a little familiar. So he caught on and learned the identities of Batman and Robin and followed them closely. After the death of Jason, he noticed Batman was grieving and he tried to unite the two. Dick insisted on maintaining his new Nightwing mantle, so Tim volunteered to become the newest Robin. He goes here, he goes here. We're all happy, little triangle of kicking ass. And number 3, Damian Wayne. The son of Batman and Talia al Ghul made his debut back in Batman Son of the Demon in 1987. Batman didn't even know he existed for a while. He was genetically perfect, born from an artificial womb, and was initially set to join the League of Assassins and be a great warrior. Now, having an excellent skill set in martial arts before he was even a teenager, Talia explained who he was and left him with his father, Batman. She was hoping this would tip the balance and disrupt Batman's work. So eager to replace Tim Drake as his trusty sidekick, troubled Damian Wayne grabs another Robin costume, adds some League of Assassins gear, and bam, he takes out the villain Spook. Yeah, he cuts his head off. It's kind of a wild one. So after Batman RIP and Batman Battle for the Cowl, he becomes the 5th Robin. Coming in at number 2, Cassandra Cain. Making her first appearance in Batman 567, Cassandra Cain started out from birth being trained to be a bodyguard for Ra's al Ghul, which wouldn't look too bad on her resume. I'll admit, that's a pretty cool gig. Her parents, David Cain and Sandra Wusan, didn't teach Cassandra how to speak or write. They didn't even let her go outside and have any freedom, really. She was taught instead to read body language. Trained by both the Wayne family and the League of Assassins, Cassandra stands out from the other Batman family members, being able to mimic the fighting style of anybody she goes toe-to-toe with. She kicks ass. And finally, coming in at number 1, we have Alfred Pennyworth. Of course, I'm saving our boy Alfred for last. The iconic character made his debut in Batman issue 16. Alfred Beagle, born and raised in England, served in the army and then retired to be an actor. And then after that, he had loaned his services for a special mission, and then he was forced to retire, move to America, and then sport the new last name, Pennyworth, becoming the butler, of course, for the Wayne family. So when young Bruce returned from school early after some bullies got the best of him, Alfred decided to lend his knowledge to the young Wayne boy, dealing with them strategically rather than forcefully, you know? Michael Caine, of course, has played him in the Dark Knight trilogy, with Jeremy Irons taking on the current mantle for Zack Snyder's run, and then soon to be Andy Serkis in Pattinson's 2021 Batman. But this character will always be Michael Caine in my heart, and probably yours too, right?